A quick shout out to Tobias Sintel and Gamer Stitch 1. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the community. I still haven't figured out what to say at the end of this. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the video. Goliaths, Furbolgs. These are the two playable giant races, known as Giant Kin. We've already gone over Furbolg, the nature-loving Giant Kin. Today we are looking at the athletic and competitive Goliaths. Greetings, dear viewers, it is I, Drayhon, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Character Concept. In this series, we take a look at each individual race in Dungeons & Dragons and see what backgrounds and classes best pair with those races just by going over the lore of each race. This will help you create a character that is basic, just a plain character, just in case you run out of ideas. And it will also help dungeon masters if they are looking to create different NPCs using these races. Today is the Goliath. Like I said in the intro, they are the second playable giant race, and actually the more common giant race to play as. I believe that the Critical Role team has a Goliath. What was his name? Grog, I think it was. Anyway, the Goliaths are actually interesting, to say the least. According to the lore, these guys are the stereotypical high school jock, but they're also better than the stereotypical high school jock because, unlike them, Goliaths know how to play fair. And that's their whole culture, is that they play fair. No kidding. If one of the Goliaths were to purposefully cheat or use underhanded tactics to win a competition, the rest of their tribe shuns them. This is no joke. That's literally in the lore. Word for word, just about. These guys are the sports equivalent to the Jehovah's Witness. Apologies to any actual good Jehovah's Witnesses. I know not all of you are bad, that's just a stereotype. So that actually explains a lot of these backgrounds. Athlete, hermit, outlander, and Earthspur Minor. Actually, Earthspur Minor and Clancrafter are explained by this next bit of information, and that is Goliaths respect the dwarves. And a lot of tribes will go to dwarven settlements to trade with them, because Goliaths love their crafts. Why am I unable to think of the words I need to say? Just their armor and weaponry. Dwarven craftsmanship is very well respected by the Goliaths. So the clan crafters feature of respect for the stout folk is 100% part of the Goliath lore. And I would imagine that Earthspur Miner would fit just as well. Though the lore of the Earthspur Miner might not be. As far as classes go, Barbarian, Druid, Fighter, and Ranger seem to be the best fit. If you're wondering about the Gladiator part, there is a sad bit of lore for that as well. There are some individuals that will go to Goliath tribes and kidnap Goliath young and use them for gladiatorial combat. Well, raise them for gladiatorial combat. That's the whole thing there. It's kind of sad, but true. I guess it's good to see that Wizards of the Coast implements all forms of evil in the human world. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at each of the classes to see what subclasses will best fit a Goliath. Starting things off with Barbarian. For your primal pass, you're most likely going to be going for the Berserker, Totem Warrior, or the Juggernaut. The Zealot and Battle Rager might be less likely. Battle Rager because it's a dwarf-only subclass. But like I said, a lot of Goliaths will actively go to dwarven settlements for trade. So it wouldn't be hard to assume that some Goliaths have learned the technique of the Battle Rager from the dwarves. And for Zealots, well, clerics are few and far between with the Goliath, much like a few other races that I've already gone over. Goliaths are more about nature. They have more shamans than they do clerics. Not really God-centered. But it's still a good class to use, in my opinion. For Bard, the colleges of Lore and Valor are the best fits, though I don't think there would be too many Bards. I would say not even I would say maybe 13% of Goliaths would be Bards. That's a little bit more than Clerics, though, so moving on. Next is, of course, the Cleric. According to the lore, the different Goliath gods are either nature, protection, war, or zeal. At least that's what I've been able to find. Now, of course, there are those type of players that will play a cleric not as a follower of any god, but a follower of an aspect, a idea, the idea of nature, the idea of war. But once again, Clerics are few and far between for the Goliath race. Druids are where it's going to be at. In fact, you'll probably see a lot of Circle of the Land Druids. Mostly because you will be able to find a lot of Goliaths in the mountains. Now, Icewind Dale does take place in an Arctic climate, and they have Goliath as a adventure hook. Oh, yeah. Moon Druids, probably. This would be more towards those Goliaths that believe they have origins in the Stone Giant or in the Earth Genasi area. Yeah, that's part of the lore. Some believe that the Goliaths originated from Stone Giants or Earth Genasi. Maybe even a hybrid of the two races. Which is interesting, not gonna lie. Circle of the Shepherd is the least likely. Then you also got Circle of the Stars, which is also not as likely. You are more likely going to find Druids that are Circle of the Land for a Goliath race. For fighters, you'll probably see a lot of Brutes, Champions, or Rune Knights. Scouts and Sharpshooters are more for those who are hunters. For Paladins, this one is definitely a possibility. I would say about 50% of Goliaths would be Paladins. Though more specifically, the Oath of Conquest or the Oath of Glory. Goliaths want to be the best at what they do in just about anything that requires competition. Hunting, beating up the biggest monster, or whatever. Not killing the biggest monster, just beating it. Because finishing a downed foe is deemed dishonorable. There we go. Words, Dreon, words. Alright, moving on to Ranger. The Conclaves of the Hunter and the Monster Slayer will probably be the best fit. For Rogue, the Scout and the Swashbuckler would be the most likely. Assassin, less likely. These are more for when you're hunting or if your Goliath was exiled for a dishonorable kill. So an evil Goliath. Sorcerer would be our next class, and once again, this goes with the piece of lore that a lot of Goliaths believe they are either from Earth Genasi or Stone Giants. So Rune Child and the Origin of Stone would be the best fit. And finally, Wizard. I'm sure you'll see a lot of wizards, but the only one that I see the Goliaths using would be the arcane tradition of war magic. Not really much else a Goliath would use. Maybe transmutation, but I decided not to put it on the list because war magic seemed to fit more with the Goliath. Well, I hope you enjoyed, my dear viewers. This has been Drahon, and I will see you next time. For I am offline.